Welcome to Ezayola Online English. Today we are looking at syllables, the English syllables. This topic, of course, is a topic that is connected with the sound aspect of English language. You know, English language is divided into spoken and written English. Now, when we mention the written English normally, what should come in the center of the mind of maybe a teacher or even a learner is the letters of the alphabet. But then when we mention the spoken English, that's where we begin to picture the sound, all right? English could be spoken, English could be written. So, like I said, the syllable is the aspect that deals with the spoken English. What do we even mean by syllable? When we mention syllable, I look at syllables to be the minimum unit of pronunciation. You see, when we pronounce something like, look at this, look at something like this, we have it as education, all right? Education. We could break this word into different syllables, something like this, so that we shall have education, all right? So that this is seen as syllable number 1, syllable number 2, syllable number 3, and the last syllable, okay? We could begin the numbering from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we notice? We notice that this is a single word, of course, but made up of different syllables. How many syllables? Of course, we have 4 syllables. Now, it wouldn't be wrong to say that this is a word that has 4 syllables. So, in our definition, like I said, of the syllable, it is the minimum unit of pronunciation. What do I mean by that? Here, you can pronounce this. It doesn't matter, of course, whether it has meaning or not, but the possibility of pronouncing this as all right? The sound all right? It is obtainable. It is possible to pronounce it. That's why we look at it as minimum unit of pronunciation. And here we have it as ju, k, and shin, all right? So that when we blend all of them together unitedly, we have a concept such as education. Okay, now having talked about syllable and its meaning, we've defined what it means. We are going to look at the types of syllable we have in English language. There are, of course, 3 different types of syllable. Number 1, we are going to mention. We have, number 1, we have the monosyllabic word. Monosyllabic words. We have the monosyllabic. We have, number 2, we have the di or bisyllabic. Okay? Bisyllabic words. Di or bisyllabic words. And finally, we have the next one, which is the polysyllabic words. Okay? We shall take our time to talk about these different types of syllables we have in English language. Now, when we talk about the first one, which is what? The monosyllabic. The monosyllabic words, what are the words, or how do we even look at the monosyllabic words? When we mention the monosyllabic words, we are talking about words in English language that have only a single syllables. We have words in English language, of course, we cannot break them in various syllables. Like we did to our example when we wrote education on the board, that word education, we were able to break them into 4 different syllables. But not every English word we can do that with. There are words that are monosyllabic. Those words that are monosyllabic, they are such words that cannot be divided into different syllables. Let's take some words or have some words example that are monosyllabic. Something like go. Go is an English word, and this go is a monosyllabic word. We have something like eat. Eat is also an English word. It cannot be divided or broken into different syllables. We have words like come. We have words like stop. We have too many of them, of course, but let us stop at this point because of our time. Now, we are talking about monosyllabic, remember. I told you they are words that have only one syllable. It means that it's not possible to divide them or to break them into different syllables. Now, go remains go. It is monosyllabic. You can't divide it into different syllables. The same thing with eat. The same thing with come. And finally, we have stop. So when we talk about monosyllabic words, what should come into your mind is that they are centered on words, or they have to do with words that are monosyllabic. That is, they have only single syllable. That is, by the way, what about the disyllabic or bisyllabic words? Now, when you hear die or bi in English language, of course, you need to know that it involves two. All right? Die or bi has to do with two things in place. So, we should understand that the bi or disyllabic words are those words in English language that have two syllables, just two. Example, something like this: inform is a disyllabic word because it has two syllables, the in and the form. Okay, we have something like transport. Okay, this is equally a disyllabic word, transport. And we have the trans and port. We break them. It's possible to split them into two, all right, dividing them into their various syllables. We have syllable number one and number two. We have something like convert, all right. This is equally a disyllabic or bisyllabic word. Two syllables involved. Take note, when we mention di or bisyllabic words, we are talking about words that have only two syllables. Finally, we have the polysyllabic words. In the polysyllabic words, this is telling us about words, English words, that have three syllables, 4, 5, and what have you, all right? That means they go beyond two syllables, okay? They have from 3 syllable to wherever it has to stop. So, if we have words like information, all right? We have this, information. This is a word of what? 3 syllables. We could have something like simplicity, all right? Simplicity. This is equally a word that is polysyllabic. Polysyllabic in the sense that it has more than 3 syllables, or maybe from 3 syllables to wherever, okay? There could be other words like international, okay? Now, this is international, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that. Now, we have words that are 5 syllable here. We could also have something like interdenomination, interdenominationalism. Okay, now if you take your time to split this particular word into different syllables, you could have interdenominationalism. That means if we go back to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you can now see that an expression like this, or a word, English word like this, of course there is something like this as an English word. Now, we have noticed that it has up to 10 different syllables, okay? So that's why we need to understand that the polysyllabic words involve words that have 3 syllables, 4 syllables, 5, 6, 7, 8, and whatever, okay? They are polysyllabic. Let's come back to mono. Mono involves words that have single syllables. And then di or bisyllabic words, they have two. Just two. I've given you examples, you've seen them. And finally, we have the polysyllabic words. These are words that have between 3 syllables and above. Thank you very much. If you've really enjoyed what you've watched, I ask you or plead with you to consider subscribing to our channel and follow us on Facebook on Ezayola Online English. Thank you.